Booyah! I don't think that's going to be included in any version of this. I don't think that'll be in the upload version either. Well, all 0 of you here, it's that time of the week again. Time to sit down and watch a movie. I'm going to kill the stream here really quick. Give me 1 second. I'm going to... Successful. There we go. Does the title for you guys still say 98? I don't know why that's the case. I changed it. I don't know why it didn't update. It still says 98. Oh, well, I updated it. So now it should be fixed. I don't know why it said 98. I fixed it. I fixed it before I started streaming. Either way, we're watching Godzilla Planet of the Monsters, the 24 of us that decided to watch the movie. I have a feeling this stream is going to have very few viewers. The next 3 weeks, we're going to have very low view counts compared to what we were used to be pulling in. Won't be able to watch the film, but I can hear in the stream. But I can be here in the stream. Are you in the process of moving right now? Is this what you were talking about last week? You're mid-move at the moment? I'm checking Twitter really fast because I know there was someone who wanted to tune into the live streams but hasn't gotten a chance. So I'll send him a DM if he's not here already. Once again, just a friendly reminder. We will be watching Godzilla Planet of the Monsters. Yeah, packing stuff up. Oof. We'll be watching Godzilla Planet of the Monsters. We're live now on my channel. Send him a message, let him know. When that one person gets excited because it said 98. That one person's stupid. He should have known that we did that last week. I'm surprised that guy who says everything sucks isn't here. Sorry, I got caught off guard by a nice clickbait title. Trying to pull up the stream here. Have you here's the new movie Minya? What does that comment even mean? I'll tweet this stream out because I feel like people on Twitter got more hype than everyone else. Doing a live watch along for Godzilla Planet of the Monsters. Come say hi. The good news with this one is this is probably the earliest you've started one of these, I know. The good news with these is that they're short. They're not that long. Well, yeah, we'll watch 98 again just for old time's sake. As if last week wasn't bad enough. When did you start getting acne? Strange question. I don't know. It was probably like 13 or 14. All 3 movies were pretty good to say the least, but the ending... I should probably show this comment. But the ending to Planet Eater is BS. I rather had him live instead of killing himself. You'd rather see live. I think him sacrificing his life is a good ending to the trilogy. I've already done a video all about that. I can take this time to announce, because we've started early. For those of you who don't know, by the way, the watch along will start here in 8 minutes. We're going to start the watch along at 5 o'clock or 6 or 7 on the hour, wherever you are, depending on your time zone. How long are you going to grow your hair out? I'm going to grow my hair out until I feel like I don't want to grow my hair out anymore. It depends on a number of factors, but I might just straight up grow it out until I'm back in a classroom, which at this point it's looking like I'm not going to cut my hair until 2021. 7 o'clock for you, so then 8 o'clock is when you're starting to move. I don't know, just start it on the hour. We're starting at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Blue Nova's here. He's the one who I wanted to be here. He's the only person who gets this trilogy. What the heck? I hate Serizawa now. He shouldn't have killed himself. Bad movie. Exactly. Killing yourself at the end of Godzilla movie? Bad. Got to pull up the stream on my laptop here so that I can do this. Also, I should say I'm going to be watching the movie in Japanese. It's you can pick whichever version you want. I'm pretty sure the timing is 100% the same. It shouldn't throw you off. I'm going to be watching the movie in Japanese. So, if that's what you want to do, then you can do that. Let your hair grow until 2025. Yeah. I'll take this time to announce that my next set of video essays that I'm going to work on. The next set of video essays will be all about the anime trilogy. I have 2 of them planned. Not one for, I was going to try and think of one for each movie, but one of the 2 that I have planned is about the trilogy as a whole. So there's no, then I'll have to do 4 if I do that. So we're just going to do it the way I have it currently. Which is, I've got 2. One of them is on the Planet Eater. One of them is on the trilogy as a whole. I will say though, for the people asking about my hair, I'm not really into my hair at the moment. I don't like what it's doing lately. It's too long to style the way I like to style it. So. I noticed that the chat between these 2 isn't this. The chat on my laptop is actually faster than the one on my computer, interestingly enough. The anime series is the first Godzilla series that didn't have an apocalypse concept. That did is an apocalypse. What? Okay, hold on. The anime series is the first Godzilla series that did is an apocalypse concept. I think I understand what you're saying. This is the first apocalypse concept Godzilla movie. Have you ever tried dyeing your hair? No, and I don't plan on dyeing my hair. Can't really cut it anyways with how the state is on lockdown exactly. Yeah. But it is too long at the moment. It's kind of awkward. I need to start styling it different. Because it's, I don't know, it looks really uneven now. The way I'm currently wearing it. I gotta like wipe the, this is how you clean the grease off your forehead after you've been working. Get a haircut so we can see your head. No thanks. Sorry, the poor spelling. You're good. You're good. You're going to try and grow a beard until the Godzilla vs. Kong movie? Well, that was never the deal. The deal was until September. It was not to grow it out until November. Just let it all hang down. That's what I think I'll do. Go back to the way I originally wore my hair. Not the way that I wore my hair originally on YouTube, but the way I originally wore it before I started YouTube. I only have one video from that era. where I just draped it down in front of my face. I wouldn't comb it at all. I just drape it all in front of my face, let it dry naturally. How long is the watch along? However long the movie is. I should actually pull up the movie now that we're in the 3-minute mark. I'm gonna get the movie pulled up and ready to go. He's gonna grow a full beard and fight a large reptile. Exactly. That's the plan. The plan's just to do that in September rather than October. Anime. Japanese. What is this comment? Is it just me, or does D-Man look like a skinny fat Thor? Okay. It's 1 hour, 28 minutes, 30 seconds. Thank you very much, Blue Nova. He's got his pulled up, you can tell. Guarantee, although he loves this trilogy, arguably he loves it way more than I do, guarantee he does not know those numbers off the top of his head. That man has his pulled up. At least second with you? Always last second with me. Oh, I see what you're saying. Pulling up the movie. This guy commented French. No offense, D-Man. I don't know what that means. Why would I take offense to that? I'm trying to untangle my headphones here. Again, a thing that I should have done a minute ago that I'm doing now, because I do last second. All right, movie starts in 1 minute. Let's get this show on the road. I'm not watching it on Netflix. I'm watching it from Netflix, but I'm not watching it on Netflix. My 00 says a Netflix original series, just so you know. All right, start it. Yeah, mine. I don't know how the timing will work because mine said a Netflix original series. So I think some of us might be like slightly off. Because yeah, that's what mine said. I'll try to visualize in my head to follow along. All right. Now I gotta switch to this chat. I don't know how to watch it. It's on Netflix. The Planet from Little Shop of Horrors vs. Biollante. I know everybody hates the CG animation, right? Everybody hates it. But if I'm 100% honest with you, I think it looks pretty solid. I think the environments look really good. My problem with the... I'm trying to... Okay. I was making sure that my subtitles were not accurate, but were timed correctly. Because for a second there it looked like they weren't, but they are. I think the environments look really good. I know a lot of people hate the CG animation. I think the environments all look great. My problem with it is that it's mostly just with the hair. I think the people's hair looks awkward. But look at, like, Haruo's suit, right? If you look at the suit, it looks really good. There's lots of cool detailing in all of the suits. And all of the, the ships here as well. You can see, like, these I don't know, you can see the textures in them, but there's something weird about the faces and the hair itself that's under detailed compared to everything else, specifically the hair, which just looks like chunks of rubber, whereas everything else looks pretty good. That's my issue with the animation. The animation is fine. I don't see why people just straight up hate it because it's CG. I know. CG animation looks alright. It's at least consistent, unlike Ultraman anime, which goes choppy animation, motion capture, black capture back to choppy animation. I haven't seen the Ultraman one, so I don't exactly know what you're talking about. My favorite part of the movie is where they discover Godzilla Earth. I think that's everybody's favorite part of this movie. I've only seen the first one in the trilogy. Well, you can watch them along with us. We'll be watching one a week. What was the first Godzilla figure you customized? Oh, he's not talking to me. I was like, what? I wonder how many people are going to show up and hate on it. I don't expect a lot of people to show up who hate this trilogy. I think they'll just sit this out. They have no reason to show up. You look older than 14. You look like you could be 18 or 19. That's my curse. I like the CG animation, although it was kind of expecting it to be 2D. Don't get me wrong. I think 2D animation could probably look better, but I like this. I like the animation in this series. Okay, here's a question that you guys may be able to answer for me. He calls this dude Grandpa, right? Is that not actually his grandpa? I think someone explained to me that that's Yuko's grandpa, that he just refers to him as Grandpa. I thought it was the other way around. I assumed it was his grandpa and that Yuko just referred to him as Grandpa for whatever reason. But maybe you guys will know. I love the music. I didn't originally love the music. It took me some time, but the music really grew on me. Because when, and I'm not going to say her name, I have an idea of, you believe it's Yuko's grandpa? Why is it Yuko's grandpa? Why does he call this dude Grandpa? And then he has such a strong emotional reaction to this guy dying that it's really strange for it to not be his grandpa. I think it's just like a translation thing, like, sir, grandpa is an elder. Maybe that's true. I know this is a common thing that happens when they subtitle movies, is that the translations aren't always 1-to-1. So, yeah, I suppose you could be correct. They share the Tawny last name. Interesting. I hate this trilogy. I'm actually indifferent on it. I just wanted to be petty and spite the previous comment. Thank you, Brayton. I didn't actually know Brayton tunes into these. But I'm not going to say her name because, hold on, I'll get to that in a bit. I do like this intro a lot. I love the aesthetic of it. I know a lot of people would have preferred to just see this portion of the story. I know this is something that a lot of people wanted because people don't really understand what the anime trilogy is. Everyone wanted it to be Godzilla Final Wars, but it's an anime for 3 movies straight. And you can't tell me that's not what they wanted, because I have hundreds, if not thousands, of comments that will prove that that is all they wanted. All people wanted was, well, it's an anime, so you might as well go crazy and just have monster fights in every single scene. That's not what the anime series is interested in. And this is what my video essays will be about. I've done one previously on Mechagodzilla City, talking about how the whole point of these is not monster fights. They're always an ideological struggle, it's always a struggle of ideals. It's not about monsters, hardly at all. And that people just can't live with that, because they really had this expectation going into it that it was going to be this thing that it was never going to be. And granted, some of that can be pinned on the advertising, because the movie was marketed as like, oh man, it's going to have all these kaiju in it. And fair enough, it didn't, or it hardly has them, like right there. You hardly have them, so sure. Points to you for that, for getting upset for the false advertising. But judge the movie on its own merits. Just because the movie didn't conform to what you wanted it to be doesn't mean it's bad per se. People overlook or forgot how dire the situation is. But in the opening minutes does a good job showing how desperate the situation is. And I agree with that. I agree with that for sure. I really like the music in this movie, is what I was saying earlier. And the music right here specifically in the beginning is an awesome song. There's Mechagodzilla. I like this Mechagodzilla design. I like the head. I know a lot of people hate the Mechagodzilla design. I think it's really cool. And I'm totally okay with him never activating properly. I think what they do with him is far more interesting than just having him rise up and fighting Godzilla. Not that I can't get behind a good kaiju fight. I'm just saying, given what they've given us, I can appreciate what we have. Thank you very much, Alden Tolbert. Oh, I'm totally sorry last week, by the way, Alden, that I didn't give you a shout out during the stream. The trilogy anime is okay. The only two problems are the story and the waste of Mechagodzilla and Ghidorah. Hopefully, need another anime series. Well, we'll definitely get another anime series. Don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but we're getting another. I love this moment. This is totally 2014. This is good stuff right here. The song is awesome. The piece on the soundtrack is really cool, and I think it's a really a really intimidating moment with Godzilla just shooting that ship out of the air. I'm just gonna switch to calling him Haruo, which I know isn't exactly how you pronounce his name, but I'm not gonna put in the effort to pronounce it right at the moment, because it's gonna get repetitive and annoying if I have to keep doing that. I like how if you listen closely right there, you can hear the 54 roar. I've got this strand of hair right in my face that I'm trying to get out of my eyes, but it won't go. I don't exactly know where it's coming from. Anyways, let me pop back in the chat and finish off this stuff. I don't think Ghidorah is wasted. Anyways, Alden, I think the Ghidorah is actually used really well in this trilogy. So that's my stance on it anyways. People don't understand that the anime is literally just Japanese animation. As long as it's made in Japan, it's technically anime. If the anime was always if all anime was always action, slice of life anime wouldn't exist. I have not heard of slice of life style anime. That sounds honestly kind of boring. I don't know why you wouldn't just do it live action then. All right, back to the normal part of the chat. Got back up. The anime trilogy is criminally underrated. Great visuals, character development throughout each movie. I agree. That's one moment that's I remember shocked me the first time I saw this, when that dude kills himself. I was not anticipating that would happen. It's quite the graphic suicide for the Godzilla series. Even though it's done off screen, you can just see the blood splatter. That's a cool planet design as well. I remember when the movie was coming out, a lot of people suspected that Ghidorah was living inside those storm clouds. That would have been an interesting twist. Did this Godzilla come from the ocean? I think so. I think that is where he rises up from, but he is born? Why did I say it like that? He's born of nuclear energy. It's just hollow nihilism and shock factor. Terrible trilogy. To each their own, Peter. I personally think the first movie is the weakest, but the second and third film have great character development, and I appreciate them so much. People only want action, basically. Yeah. This is my second favorite of the trilogy. City for me is the weakest, but yeah, I agree. People definitely only wanted this this action thing that we were never gonna get. This one's probably arguably the most action-packed of the trilogy, even with Planet Eater. I would still argue that this one's probably the most action-packed. Can I just also take a minute to say how much I love Mephies? Mephies is one of my favorite Godzilla characters ever. I love Mephies. He's so creepy, and I gotta give the English voice actor credit. I very much prefer the English voice actor for Mephies over the Japanese voice actor. There's something so unsettling about how calm his voice is that I absolutely love. I think he's a pretty interesting character design, just this kind of towering figure. He's such an awkward looking person. The way he wears his hair is really interesting as well. I love Mephies. I love what they do with Mephies in the final installment of the trilogy. And I actually just noticed for the first time here that this is the introduction of Mephies' little shoulder cross. I know he does that in Planet Eater as well, right before summoning Ghidorah, but I did not know he did it in this scene. For those who think anime Mechagodzilla is a disappointment, what is the functional difference between it and the Heisei Mechagodzilla? Heisei Mechagodzilla is a weapon platform in the shape of Godzilla, no melee capabilities. Yeah, I suppose. I would argue that the difference is just design. People don't like the design of Mechagodzilla City. Godzilla still fights him. That's actually a really interesting point. I never did consider that. Yeah, the Heisei Mechagodzilla does kind of tussle with Godzilla a bit, but he mostly just gets thrown around, doesn't he? He's definitely a stand back and blast you with lasers kind of guy. Planet Eater is my favorite of the trilogy. Me too. Monster Planet is my second favorite, and City on the Edge is my third. Yeah, we have the same order. Remember that essay you wrote? That essay you wrote on him? It wasn't on him that you read on stream. Wasn't that for school? Hopefully you got a good grade on that, even though it was a couple years ago. Well, it was a year ago. Yeah, you're right. It was close to 2 years ago. I didn't write the essay for MEPFees. I wrote the essay as MEPFees. I don't remember what was that essay about? The essay was like, oh, what was it about? I know mine was super nihilistic, talking about how we are the death of ourselves or something, but I do not remember what the prompt was that made me go, yeah, I should write this as Memphis. oh, I think the essay was, the prompt was like, write as a fictional character about an animal or something. That might have been what the prompt was. And so the fictional character I chose was Mephies, and the animal I was referring to was humanity. Something like that? I don't entirely remember. The Heisei Mechagodzilla nearly defeated Godzilla, while the anime Mechagodzilla did not. The Vulture bots did. Peter, I don't think you have seen the last movie. Or the next movie, I should say. Mechagodzilla City very much almost kills Godzilla. The vultures are the reason he doesn't kill Godzilla, because the vultures needed to finish Godzilla off, and they don't. But absolutely, 100% Mechagodzilla City nearly kills Godzilla. He puts Godzilla into shutdown stage. What time are you at? Me, personally, I'm at 15, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, and so on. This is, to be fair, Mechagodzilla City crippled Godzilla. Exactly. Is Mephies flamboyant? I don't think so, no. We need a prequel series to go along with this trilogy. I 1,000,000% agree. I thought Mephies was a female. I think the first time I watched this movie, I thought Mephies was a female. Or I think, okay, it was before the movie came out, I thought Mephies was a female. And then the movie came out, and I went, Mephies a male? Maybe Mephies is genderless. That could be, because I don't think we see a female Exif. People often reduce Haruo's motivations to, my parents died so I hate Godzilla. But does he ever mention that to anyone? His character is more nuanced than what people give him credit for. Yeah, I think that's a pretty bad interpretation as well. That's like, it's like Batman, you know? It's like, yes, Bruce Wayne became Batman to avenge the death of his parents. But that isn't why he's Batman, is it? He's Batman because he's trying to stand as a symbol of justice. And as Haruo will say multiple times throughout this trilogy, he's trying to be a symbol of pride, the thing that he thinks humanity lost by giving up and running away from the fight. He's trying to stand in for that. He's trying to give hope back to humanity. That's what he's trying to do. And it's only in the end that he realizes he's not a symbol of hope, he's a symbol of hate. And that's why he has to kill himself, is because he needs to rid the world of hate. This was one of the, yeah, Paul, if you're putting leaks in the chat, I'm gonna block you and you're never gonna be able to comment on this channel again. This scene was pretty awesome when the movie first came out. Actually, this is something I didn't notice until rewatching the movie, not recently, but upon multiple rewatches, that they have a little piece of nanometal right here. I'm assuming that little piece of nanometal isn't able to reproduce, because otherwise I think they would have come up with the idea on their own. But yeah, they have a little piece of nanometal right there, the Billy Saluto do, which is cool. But this was definitely one of the most intriguing scenes of this first movie, is this little conversation between Mephies and I think that's Galagoo. I don't entirely, I missed when they said his name, but I think that's Galagoo. It's been a hot minute since I've watched this trilogy. But yeah, Mephies and Galagoo here talking about the Exif trying to brainwash humanity with their cult, and the Billy Saluto wanting to take over the planet with Mechagodzilla. That was a really interesting part of the movie that I love that. I love the setup there, and it's got great payoff within the next two films. I mean, the next two films are literally about that conversation entirely. The whole plot stems from one half of that conversation or the other, depending on which movie you're talking about. That's awesome. This whole green screen thing that they use too, the Gamatron calculations. What, I don't know, it's exactly, but the screens that they have look really cool, and the Gamatron calculations and everything look awesome. All that stuff is really cool. And Galutrium's that little green crystal or something. So that's also real great. It's the best song in the trilogy. Asking, do I... There's a difference between losing your parents and losing your kid. I think it'd be a lot harder to lose your kid. Am I lagging? I see that I am. Don't entirely know what to do to stop the lag. Love the music here, though. And I love this whole subspace sequence. I think it's really cool. I think it's a really cool way to get from point A to point B. And I like that it warps. I like that you can actually see space warping around them. I think that's a neat touch. And I love that they have the time travel element as well. The idea that, you can't just use warp speed and get away with it. You're going to cause some problems in the process of doing so. Trying to fix the Wi-Fi here, but I don't entirely know what to do about it. My upload speeds are pretty low at the moment. Don't know why. Well, I tried to boost my internet, so hopefully that means it'll be a little bit better. Lag stopped. All right. Tell your Wi-Fi to stop being laggy. Will do. I never realized. Have you ever taken a minute to consider how fast those drones would be flying as they head down to Earth? Those things are going so incredibly quick. Director Omori and Kitamura made disparaging remarks about Godzilla movies. They say nothing about the quality of their movies. What? I don't know what I don't know what you guys are referring to. What time are you at? Sorry, just got to Netflix. I'm at 23, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Although, you know what? I just realized that my time estimates are going to be off because my recording starts out with a different thing than everyone else's. So my time statements are going to be inaccurate by like 10 to 15 seconds because mine starts out with a different intro than everyone else's. Because mine's not on, I'm not watching this on Netflix. I'm watching a different version of the movie. So mine starts out with a different intro. I love the idea that Godzilla is so powerful that the world shaped itself into him, that now the atmosphere has changed in order to benefit him, and everything has shaped in his image. It really puts the god in Godzilla. The world has become an extension of Godzilla. It's a very Millennium roar right there. Yeah, the world has shaped itself to be Godzilla, giving him the god in the Godzilla name. And as for the Godzilla Earth, the Earth is now an extension of him. So it truly is Godzilla Earth. Or you could say it's Godzilla's Earth in this movie. What if Kong was... I think you're trying to say, what if Kong was in this trilogy? He would be so out of place. Would you get the anime Blu-rays? I absolutely would if I knew that they had the English subtitles, but I don't know if they have English subtitles, so I have not gotten them. Exactly, truly a god incarnate. How do you feel about the rock/mountain trap? I'm not really about it. Godzilla is stronger than that, I think. Oh, I see what you're saying. Godzilla is stronger than that, I think. I'm fine with the rock trap that they use at the end of the movie because it's very reminiscent of the same way they trap Godzilla at the end of Godzilla Raids Again. And if the trap worked then in 1955, I think it could work now as well. It's just that this version won't melt. I'm gonna zoom into the chat because it's a little difficult for me to read it. Do you think there are more Godzilla Filiuses running around on the planet somewhere, either underground or far from where the humans landed? I do not, no. Because here's the thing is they state multiple times that Godzilla is a genetic aberration, that there can only be one Godzilla. And there's only one point when they're like, but what if there's more? I don't think there's more Godzilla Filiuses running around. I think everyone is right. Godzilla is a genetic aberration. I don't know. I don't think that there's going to be more than the two. I think that the Godzilla Filius is simply a clone of Godzilla. Not sure how that happened. Not sure what that process was like. But I don't anticipate that there'd be more than one Godzilla left alive at the end of this trilogy. How much Japanese do you know, and how long can you talk to a native Japanese person? I know very basic Japanese, and I cannot converse with people yet. I'm not quick enough to interpret what they say to be able to converse with them. I can say things to them, say some very general things to them, but I could not converse with a Japanese person because I just cannot keep up with them. My aunt, who lived in Japan for many, many years, when she speaks Japanese to me, I can't keep up with her. And any of the Japanese family members I have, they speak too fast. The few times that I've heard them speak Japanese, they speak too fast and I cannot keep up. What? Do you think that if there was any more clones, they might have come to try and help Godzilla Earth against Ghidorah? Probably not, because they're all pretty slow, so they probably wouldn't have made it anyways. Is Godzilla Earth 300 meters? If so, then how does he look so much bigger as his kneecaps was taller than a mountain? Godzilla Earth is 300 meters, and it's just a matter of terrain. He's not next to mountains bigger than him. He's just next to hills. So... Are you an Evangelion fan, or do you like Evangelion? Well, Prime Boss, I have an Evangelion review on the channel. Go check it out and find out. Do you think we'll get a prequel to this anime series or trilogy? No, I don't expect a prequel, but I sure would like one. I think the next anime series, which I'm anticipating will be announced at the end of this year or next year, I don't think it will have anything to do with this trilogy. They've said that they're tossing around the idea of doing a continuation either before or after this series. Hopefully not after. That would really detract from the ending of this trilogy if they follow it up with something else. But if they do a prequel... They've talked about the idea of that. That'd be really cool to see the books adapted into a series of their own. So, we'll see. I'm swallowing a lot. I feel like I'm swallowing so much. It's like my mouth is just like watering like crazy. Which film from the anime trilogy is your favorite? Mine is Planet Eater. The next anime will be Chibi Godzilla movie. No, thank you. And we can see the dance in the big screen. I would not like that. Do you think the anime trilogy is better than the MonsterVerse? No, I don't. Here's the EXIF. Find it interesting that after being on this ship for 20 years together, the language that everyone defaulted to was Japanese. It's quite funny. English would definitely be the language. It's the most popular language on Earth. And you have someone like Elliot Leland, who's definitely a white guy, would be speaking English. What if Toho hired you to do the Chibi Godzilla dance at Anime Matsuri? Are you talking about the Chibi Godzilla dances and the dude in his underwear? Is that what you're talking about? Mephies was plotting from the start and responsible for Haruo getting to his leadership position. And is responsible, I think you meant to say, and is responsible for Haruo getting to his leadership position. Yeah, he's also the one who lets Haruo go. And in this scene right here, he's about to hype him up. Oh, I guess that... No, it's not right here, is it? They kind of briefly touch on it. He's like, my planet was destroyed by aliens right here. But it comes a little later when he's like, yeah, great. No, it is right. We'll have to wait and find out. But there's the scene as well when he's hyping Haruo up, being like, you're a great hero. You're the greatest hero. Not many humans have that trait. So he's definitely trying to groom him from the start of this trilogy. Yeah, that dance. No, even if Toho at the Anime Matsuri specifically requested that I did it, I would deny them. What language are you watching it in? I'm watching this in Japanese. Or no, Zichi. I remember when I first checked the soundtrack, there's the song that comes later on called Thermobaric Bombs. And the first time I read it, I thought it said thermonuclear, and I just didn't read it again. And so I'm trying to see if that... Yeah, this is one of the scenes where Mephies is slowly grooming Haruo. But I thought it said thermonuclear bombs. And so at the end, when they start bombing Godzilla, I was like, those explosions are not big enough. And it took me until I rechecked the soundtrack to be like, oh, I just read the name wrong. Do you think they put some of the classic Toho monsters in Godzilla Earth? I don't understand that comment in the slightest. Off topic. Did Godzilla 2019 size scaling errors get distracting? Godzilla sometimes slimmed or more thick. Rodan is huge and small. Ghidorah doesn't feel 120 feet bigger than Godzilla, etc. I never... There's only a few scenes where I notice things like that, where Godzilla will sometimes like stretch out and he'll be a lot puffier than he is in other scenes. And then there are moments where Godzilla appears to be equal size to Ghidorah, despite Ghidorah being bigger than him. But outside of that, I didn't think it was too much of an issue. I certainly didn't notice anything with Rodan. Godzilla is not 300 meters. He's known as Earth Godzilla, making him more than 300 meters. He's like Earth size plus Godzilla Earth size. What? Later on in the movie, we will see Godzilla peaks out at like 315 meters or something. I mean, technically, the chart doesn't show when he stops standing up, so we can assume that maybe he's a little bigger, but the creators of this movie said he's around 300 meters, so I think we should believe them. I totally forgot that I made a Kong Skull Island trailer out of this movie until I just saw this scene where they're dropping the bombs, because I was about to make the same exact joke and be like, you don't go into someone's house dropping bombs unless you're picking a fight. I definitely made that video before. More monsters should have been in the anime trilogy. Again, Gavin, I disagree. That's like the exact thing we were talking about earlier, is not you specifically. I don't know what your thoughts on the trilogy are, but so many people just wanted straight up action fights all the time, monster stuff. I imagine those people have the same problem with Evangelion, because there's only like 4 action episodes in that whole show. A lot of that show is just like quiet moping. But when they throw down an Evangelion, it's really crazy and awesome. I have a feeling people just want that all the time. That's all they want from the series. And so they'll have similar issue here. But here, the fights are nowhere near as cool as in Evangelion. I read 318 meters. Yeah, at the end of the movie. Yeah, we don't exactly see when he stops standing up, but we do see that he does cross the 300 meter mark a little bit. When I showed this series to my little brother, because we did a Godzilla-thon of our own, so he's seen all the Godzilla movies. When we did our anime trilogy set, I didn't show the movies to him as movies. I split them up into 30 to 40 minute segments. I think each one we watched like 30 minutes at a time around then. I tried to split each movie up into 3 segments. And this movie, I stopped this movie once they make it to Earth. So the only Godzilla little bit you get in that first episode that we watched was the intro. And then after that, it's just all the space stuff until they make it to Earth. And then once they land on Earth, we went up until they're about to run into Godzilla Filius. And then that last episode I think we watched was all the action stuff. If I'm remembering correctly, which I may not be, but I think that's how we watched it. And then we did the same thing for City on the Edge of Battle, where I split that one up into episodes. And that one's a little more difficult because there's not as well-defined sections in that movie. And in addition to that, the sections themselves, 2 of them don't have Godzilla in it, and only the ending does. And then as for the Planet Eater, we split that one up as well. And I have to say, splitting this series up into episodes made it so much more enjoyable. It's so much more enjoyable as a series. That was what they intended to do with it in the first place. Just came from Rob's stream to say, hi, well, thank you very much, Winter Kaiju. Yeah, that's what they intended to do with this series in the first place, was they wanted to make this oh, god damn it, Yuko, get off the screen. They wanted to make it a series, and because of budgetary reasons, they weren't able to go through with that. And when I watched it with my little brother, we watched it as a series. And it like I said, it's just, I don't exactly know why, but it is more enjoyable. And it makes you really appreciate the Godzilla stuff that's in the series because you go multiple episodes without him. You know, episode 2 is only the Servum attack. That's the only monsters in episode 2. Personally, like I said, I like it more when you break it up into segments. I wish we could see I wish we could see some of the full abilities Godzilla has in the novels. Novels. I'm not speaking well today. What's a prehensile tail? I don't even know what that means. A full prehensile tail? What is that? Evangelion is so much more than giant cyborgs and giant monsters. It's about the message and theme. Same with the anime Godzilla films. Lower your expectations, people. It's not even about lowering your expectations. It's just about understanding what you're watching. I have to say the novelization for Godzilla Earth is more enjoyable than the actual series, and I guarantee you probably haven't read it. I own I own both of them. I own both the first two. I have not read the novelization for either of them because I can't read Japanese. We've probably looked at translations. I'm not doubting that. I'm not saying your opinion's invalid. You can enjoy what you've experienced from those more. But I've heard a lot of people talking about like, oh man, the novelizations are better than the movies. You haven't read the novelizations. You can't read Japanese. You don't probably even own them. Not trying to call you out, James. I'm just talking about people who have similar opinions to you. You're good to go, though. The trek through the forest reminds me of Mothra 1961. You even see... yeah, you even see one of the twins. I never thought about that. That's pretty cool. I remember when my little brother saw one of the first twins. We don't exactly know which one it is. We'll just say the Hautua in this movie. When you see the Hautua spying on them when they're walking through the forest, my little brother was quite intrigued. I think the anime trilogy is good, but Yuko literally doesn't need to be in it. I think she does need to be in it, but I think she's so annoying. I think they should have fixed some of the writing with her to make her a little less of a problem. Means you can wrap around stuff and hold on to it. Yeah, there's no way this Godzilla's doing that in the movies. This Godzilla's tail is like a club. This dude's not wrapping around stuff with his tail. I enjoy the moments like the one we get between Yuko and Haruo. It humanizes him and the film. In this movie, I think he could have had that conversation with someone else, you know, talking about the importance of humanity and all that stuff. But yeah, I do think Yuko's necessary. I just think Yuko's infatuation with Haruo is the part that I don't like. It feels forced, and he's not even into it. It's just awkward to me. I don't like that aspect of their relationship. Why couldn't she just admire him as a soldier? Why does she have to be in love with him? Because he's not into it. Will there be a better version of Godzilla Earth? No, this is the only version of Godzilla Earth. I was looking for a video where you show your Criterion Godzilla collection, said what's your favorite movie from the Showa era, and you can't use Godzilla 1954 because that's the best film. Are you asking me to show you my collection and then tell you, or are you telling me I did that? Here's my Criterion collection, my favorite movie in it, regardless of if I was allowed to pick the 54 movie or not, isn't the 54 movie. It's King Kong vs. Godzilla. Oh, it's Servum time, baby. This is a really cool horror sequence. This is like a slasher movie moment where these monsters burst out of the woods and just start slaughtering people. And I love the metallic sound design. I love it. It's super strange. I'm into this sequence. I wish we could have seen the Servum do a little more in this trilogy, but I like what we get. And I love like shots like that where you see it like from the mouth as it goes to snap on this guy. That's a really cool dynamic shot. Not a lot of people give enough credit to. And then I love the sound design here when they're shooting its head. It's just cool. And this is a good moment with Haruo that I didn't mention when it was happening, is when he sees the Earth and he realizes Earth hasn't forgotten humanity, you know. This sequence establishes how powerful those little drones that they use are, the little tanks, because those tanks can one-shot the Servums. Yuko could use some work, but she's important. I don't think she's a bad character. I personally don't like Yuko, but I agree that she is a very vital part of the series and you can't get rid of her. Do you prefer long drawn-out fights or do you prefer cuts between the fights and the humans? It depends on the execution of that. There are movies that I think I could give examples of both ends of the spectrum that do a good job. Traditionally, though, in Godzilla movies, we will always cut back to the humans during the fights. That's something that's been happening since the original. We've always cut back to the humans watching the monster stuff, so I don't have a problem with it. It's an unrequired romance. It's not hard to believe a woman has feelings for someone in unrequited. You didn't say unrequired. You said unrequited. It's not hard for a woman to believe a woman has feelings for someone in a position of leadership, like that he regrets how he treated her and feels responsible for what happens. Yeah, but again, I don't think you need her to be infatuated with him. I think you can just have it to be she admires him. You ever notice how much of this movie this guy spends in handcuffs? If this were a real movie, imagine how many days the actor would have had to show up to set with his hands clinked together. He looks so awkward and uncomfortable, too. What is the title of the 70s movie where we see Godzilla's father and mother? I've looked high and low and I can't find it. Well, the reason you can't find it is because it doesn't exist. I feel like some people don't understand the importance of having human characters in Godzilla films. I agree. I feel like a lot of people don't understand the importance of that. Would you rather have a prequel to this or an origin for Ghidorah and King of the Monsters and how he ended up in ice? I would rather have a prequel to this. I don't need to see how Ghidorah wound up in ice. I mean, handcuffs aren't meant to be comfortable. That's a fair statement. I was mostly talking about his posture, not necessarily the fact that he's trapped in trapped in handcuffs. The 70s movie was unmade, and I believe it's called A Space Godzilla. Do you prefer the 2014 or King of the Monsters? I like them both for different reasons. We're on a Godzilla stream and we're talking about handcuffs. Come on, guys. I don't know where the old Tenzawa Pass is in real life. I have no idea where they're at. I assume they're in what is currently Japan, but I can't say that for certain. I don't know where in the world these guys are located. I'm going to take my shoes off, just like I did last week. It's hot in my room, and I need to take my shoes off. Toho be hogging all the 4K Showa films for themselves to be shown on TV and in theaters. Yeah, it's okay. Yuko is a better written character than Miki. Wow, Miki Saguse. Let it be known. I so strongly disagree with that statement. Miki has a full character arc over multiple movies, learning to accept Godzilla. She goes from wanting to fight him to wanting to protect him. She's put in positions where she has to be uncomfortable with the fact that she's to pilot Mechagodzilla and help them nearly kill Godzilla, which is something she's not comfortable with. It adds an interesting character conflict for her that they could have expanded upon, but still, it's still there. And there's other things throughout that series that they do with her character that I think are really interesting. Here, no way. You really think that? You really think that Yuko is a better written character? I know I'm biased against Yuko. I know I've always been biased against Yuko. I know I've been rooting for her to die since when this first movie was coming out, but I very much disagree with that statement. They do meet up pretty quick, though, don't they? Because they're talking about trying to meet up again right here. Well, they've already connected a few of their groups. And I don't think we see them regroup with anyone else in this movie. What happens to other people, huh? Why does she want to protect him? What changed her mind? What changed her mind? Well, for starters, she was inside of his head, right? She gets inside of his head multiple times throughout that trilogy. So she understands him on a level that no one else really does. But also, she's seen the way that Godzilla interacts with other things. She's, over the course of that series, slowly comes to learn the same thing that we, the audience, learns, which is that Godzilla isn't just a giant monster. He has complex emotions and thoughts of his own. She watches the way he interacts with his son. She feels the connection he has for his son. He's looking for his for little Godzilla Jr. the entire time during Mechagodzilla, and that's the movie that's the turning point, right? That's the movie where she is put in this position where she's now piloting Mechagodzilla. She's going to be the one who has to blow up his brain. She's uncomfortable with that to begin with, but also during that movie is the one where she learns that, oh my god, this creature really is just he's an animal. He has these complex thoughts and emotions towards this kid as well. And at the end of the movie, she convinces right? She helps convince Godzilla Jr. to go to Godzilla. So it's really just about her coming to terms with the fact that Godzilla isn't just a vessel for destruction. This is the awesome speech that Mephies gives in this movie. This is one of my favorite things in this movie. I cannot tell you guys enough how much I love Mephies. He's such an interesting character for me. I would have loved to get to know a little bit more about the Exif themselves, their background, what happened when they summoned Ghidorah. He just wiped out their whole planet. How many of them are left anyways? Because I can only remember seeing like a few of them in this trilogy. There's far less Exif than there are Billasaluto or humans, and yet the Exif are arguably the most dangerous. This is where we stopped the episode, right here. So our last episode was 30 whatever minutes long, 37 minutes long, and it's all action. Because from here on out, this movie is fast-paced. Mephies cosplay at GFest 2021. I'll grow my hair nice and long. I'll get it in those buns and then I'll dye it white. You guys would have to pay me a lot of money to commit to that. Do you think we will see a familiar kaiju or different challenger in the animated series? What are you talking about? What? From here on, this movie is awesome. I remember when I first saw this movie, and it was getting to this point where I was like, Jesus, Godzilla really hasn't shown up for a long time. And I was starting to be like, ugh, when is he going to show up? See, right here is where Mephies totally starts grooming Haruo. He's like, oh, you're free. I'll let you go. Now, why don't you go be that hero I told you you can be? I love Mephies, dude. But, I'll give you $1 for that. Yeah, just the one, though. At least Razorbike is offering $100 for me to do it. I remember, yeah, but anyways, when I first watched this movie, we got to this point, I got to this point where I was sitting on the couch like, oh, it's been a hot minute since Godzilla showed up. And then from this point on, Godzilla's just all the time in the movie. There's like 1 5-minute downtime when Godzilla's not in the movie. And yet everyone complains. If you guys aren't going to donate this much, because Adrian's saying he'll donate 200, Morris is saying he'll donate 100, we've got someone else saying they'll donate 100. You guys wouldn't actually. Razorbike said he'll donate 100. If we can collectively raise $1,000 for this cause. I'm not saying each one person has to donate 1,000. I'm saying if all of you guys donate and we get $1,000, I'll totally be the sellout, and I'll grow my hair out and dye it white and try my best to Mephies cosplay. No way you guys would ever pay me $1,000, so I don't have to worry about that one. I really like this moment. I really like this bait and switch moment where you think Leland is gonna abandon them, and then it turns out he's headed right for Godzilla and he's about to save Haruo. I love this. It's one of my favorite moments in the movie because you get the music cue right here. That's so good when you cut to Leland's perspective and you can hear the music kick in. And he has my favorite line in probably the Godzilla franchise history. I love it. It's the most true thing in the world. This planet can go to hell. God, I love it. Don't underestimate me. I'll do it eventually. 1,000, it's going to be easy for someone who has a lot of money. Yeah, Kinky Dora is going to donate $1,000 to turn me into Mephies. Yeah, D-Man, when he sees that the human race has been responding to coronavirus, this planet can go to hell. That's me when pretty much every time I hop on Twitter, I'll see what people on Twitter are trending about and are complaining about. And it's always a moment of, this planet can go to hell. Mickey is a good idea with poor execution. The films don't explore her character in attitude, and she just has a callous disregard about... Hold on, that comment's moving too much. About what Godzilla's existence means for everyone else. But we can continue this later. Fair enough. Who had a better death, Leland in Planet of the Monsters or Gondo in Godzilla vs. Biollante? That's a really hard question, because Gondo has that awesome line right before he dies. Well, it depends on which version of the movie you watch. I believe in the English dub, he tells Godzilla to stick to smoking, and then he's blown up. That's awesome. He has a great death. I think probably his death is better, but Leland has the better line. Where was Kong in King of the Monsters? He was on his island. The EXIF. For anyone asking for a timestamp, we're at 58, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. For people asking for the timestamp. You are a good YouTuber. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I like how he promotes Haruo to being in charge of everything, and Yuko of all people is the one who's like, that's insane. What do you mean? She's the one person who shouldn't be protesting right now. Haruo's speech here is really good. I love Yuko's reaction to Haruo's promotion. I know, that's the most out of... Why does she react like that? That's like the most out of character thing she does in the whole trilogy. That's insane. Unless she's not protesting. Unless she's so excited. She's like, oh my god, that's insane. But I've always took that as her being like, don't do this. Although her face right there in that shot, she seems really into this. T-Man is a great YouTuber. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. What about her death? The random soldiers who get killed by Servum or Dr. Graham? The random soldiers who get killed by Servum. What do you mean? Dr. Graham's death is the worst death in recent Godzilla history. If not all of Godzilla history. Haruo's speech really right here is awesome. The song's really cool as well. I don't have any complaints about this series. Don't get me wrong. Like, I shouldn't say I don't have any complaints, but I don't have many complaints. G-Man is beyond fantastic YouTuber. Thank you very much, Nick Matt. I appreciate it. He even makes King of the Monsters look better than it actually is. Hey, that's my job. My job is to stand here with the Godzilla franchise on my back and to try and push it up somehow even higher than it already is. See, this is the only portion of this section of the movie that slows down even a little bit. And it's not even that slow, though, is it? Because it's still fast-paced in terms of the human stuff. It's just not Godzilla at the moment. Remember when the Servum were Selvum? I will never forget. I will never forget when the Servum were Selvum. What do you mean? Her death was the best in the franchise, especially the fact you didn't even realize it happened until 2 minutes later. I didn't realize it happened the first time I saw King of the Monsters until Serizawa was looking at her picture, and then I went, oh, really? That was her, huh? It was such a blink and you miss it moment. I blinked, heard the scream, and I was like, who was that? Who just got snapped up? Anyone else bothered they call it a dorsal fin and not an, I don't even know how to say that word, osteodurum? Everyone's upset about that. No one can stand that they call them dorsal fins. Get out of here. I asked a kid at my school if they were Team Godzilla or Team Kong. They said, who's Godzilla? Well, your school sucks. It is interesting that they have such futuristic technology, and yet they still have a reliance on fuel. That they're worried that they're going to run out of fuel here soon. That guy just straight up crashed into Godzilla's hand. Godzilla does not move fast enough in this series to explain your way out of that one. When people say the trilogy wastes the medium, I point to sequences like this. When have we gotten anything like this prior? Agreed. This stuff is really cool, and also it's just consider the scale of what we're looking at here. People say it's a waste of the medium because it's not all-out kaiju fights all the time. That's exactly what they mean when they say that. But think about what we're looking at here. We are looking at a completely desolate planet, no cities, entirely overgrown with this mutant plant life. I don't even know what to call it. Like metallic flora fauna, Kong Skull Island style. Everything we're seeing here would not be able to be pulled off in live action on the budget that Toho would give for a live action movie. You know, Shin Godzilla was like what, a 15 to how much budget was that movie? I don't remember what the budget of that movie was. Was it 15 million? It might have been more than that. But maybe I don't know what the budget of that movie was. It wasn't 50. Was it? You know what I'm saying. Shin Godzilla had a relatively low budget for being a live action movie. You're not pulling something like this movie off with that budget. This is also a really cool sequence as well, where the Servum attack while you're in the middle of this assault on Godzilla, because it gives us a really cool aerial combat moment, and we don't get a ton of that in the Godzilla franchise. That's why Rodan, 15 million. It was 15 million, which is low budget. 15 million is not a lot. The atomic breath is super cool in this series. I love the way it just like wraps up and then it's like a big energy projectile. I think it's really awesome. Yeah, Shin was 15 million. So I guess I had that number right. But yeah, you get that aerial combat, which is one of the reasons that Rodan vs. Mothra felt so awesome in King of the Monsters, because we don't get a lot of that in the Godzilla, movies. If cost was not an object, what Godzilla movie would you make? If cost was not an object, what Godzilla movie would you make? I'd make a Godzilla movie with not a lot of Godzilla. If I could make any, just if you were like, you get to make a Godzilla movie, I'd make the Godzilla story that I've been wanting to tell for years, which is not necessarily a remake, but an updated version of the original story. Of the original movie. The music right here. Hold on. I never realized this song is in this movie. This song is in the next movie called Bilisaludo Technology. And it is this the same song? I can't tell. Okay, it's not. It's not the same song, but it sounded very similar. I have my volume super low. I can hardly hear the movie. But the song Bilisaludo Technology has been my alarm to wake up in the morning since Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle came out. So that song strikes fear into the hearts of many men now. Godzilla Final Wars was only 19 million. That's crazy. That's crazy that Final Wars had a bigger budget than Shin Godzilla. I mean, if they didn't make that animatronic, Shin would have probably been the best looking Godzilla film in the franchise. Yeah. For real. The anime soundtrack is fantastic. Back when the soundtrack was coming out, I was really in love with the soundtracks, and I won't say her name. This is what I was trying to say at the very start of the stream that I never said. I'll finish my thought now at the end of the movie. The woman who did, I'm not going to pronounce her name wrong, but the woman who did the scores for Godzilla versus Megaguirez and Godzilla against Mechagodzilla and Tokyo SOS, I was really in love with her music when I heard the announcement that Takayuki Hattori would be returning for this movie. And I just wasn't into it. I didn't want him to return. I didn't like the Space Godzilla soundtrack. I thought Godzilla 2000 soundtrack was solid, but I didn't think it was as good as her music. And so when we get to the point where the anime series comes out, I was just kind of against the soundtrack from the start, and I didn't give it the chance that I should have given it. Whereas now, I've really come to love the music in this trilogy. And right here's the thermobaric bomb sequence. When I first saw this movie, I was like, these are supposed to be thermonuclear bombs? I was like, these are the smallest explosions. That's such an awesome shot. I love that atomic breath shot when he blasts those ships out of the air. I also I love Adam's response there. It looks like I pulled the short straw. What's up, self-elevation? I gotta hear again. Refresh my memory. Word. What are you talking about, man? What do I got to refresh your memory on? I really like the characters in this movie. Adam, Leland, Mephies, Haruo, and the Billy Saluto make it a fun cast. I know the Billy Saluto are, in my opinion, the weakest part of this human cast. Not that I don't like Galagu or Belibe. It's just that I don't think they're as cool or interesting as the Exif and Haruo, Martin, Adam, and Leland especially. Leland is probably, aside from Mephies, my favorite character in this first movie. And he doesn't last that long, does he? Every time Yuko comes on screen, I just hate the movie. I just can't stand her, dude. I'm so against her for no reason as well. I'm aware of it. I'm self-aware about the fact that I hate on Yuko way more than I should. But also, she deserves it. She's stinky and I hate her. These are some weird designed ships. These little like chicken walkers that they use to attack attack Godzilla. They're such an awkward design. They make for a really cool vulture design, but they're very awkward on their own. I like how you can see the Exif symbol there built into Galagu's screen. And a shot like that where you wrap around Godzilla as these ships are flying all around him looks awesome. Godzilla's at the trap, ladies and gents. Did the stream drop? I can't tell. It's back? So it did drop is what I'm learning. That's okay. I'm not a fan of this movie. I think it's boring as hell. Fair enough, Alex. It dropped, but it's back now. I really don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi tonight. Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's inconsistent. I just have to appreciate the fact that we've been doing this consistently for like 2 months now, and this is the first time we're having problems. So I have to, at the very least, appreciate that fact that we've been able to do this for so many weeks in a row without a problem. Yeah, Godzilla's got a super gurgly roar in this sequence. The science behind taking Godzilla out has always been very interesting. You have to wait for his body to emit a very specific noise, and then you can target that noise. Someone smarter than me is going to have to explain this to me, because I haven't been reading the subtitles, and it's been a little while since I've seen this movie on its own. So I'm going to need a slight refresher here. The way you defeat Godzilla is you wait for his body to emit a noise, and then you plant an EMP inside of him. The EMP will disrupt his when you set the EMP off when noise goes off. You're gonna disrupt his regeneration. You then destroy his dorsal fins so that he can't charge his atomic breath properly, and because you've disrupted his regeneration, he can't regrow the dorsal fin to be able to fix that, and so the atomic breath will go haywire inside of his body and cause him to explode. Am I remembering this correctly? I know what you do to stop him. I know you emit a noise at the very specific point to cancel out his noise. I know you use these EMPs inside of him to disrupt his frequencies, but am I remembering all this correctly? That the frequencies is going to stop his regeneration, and then you can destroy the dorsal fins in order to F up the atomic breath, and that way he'll self-destruct. That's exactly right, you guys are saying? That's the most complicated way to kill Godzilla to ever exist ever. I love this moment. I'm always down for an anime character to call someone a bastard. I can always get behind that. You wait for the shield frequency to drop because there's a split second where the shield drops completely before it gets put back up. The frequency stops his shield, which slows him and allows him to be attacked. Such a weird noise that it makes when he explodes. It sounds like wood. It doesn't sound like metal. Like the rest of his sound design sounds like metal. Are you saying City on the Edge of Battle's Godzilla is the weakest? Is that what you're saying? Adrian out here saying he's not watching the movie and then he's on point with what's happening on screen. I was watching King of the Monsters at the scene when Ghidorah wrapped around Godzilla after falling from the sky, and I saw his dorsal fins completely flattened. That is something we have talked about before. It's kind of like the rubber dorsal fins of the Shoei era. And the Heisei era. Song right here is really good as well. Ooh, it's a good song. I didn't notice that when I watched it the first 10 times. That's fair. I can infer what happened based on what you're saying. I don't even have Netflix anymore. Damn. Well, I'm not watching these movies on Netflix. I just saved them from Netflix. But mine start with a different opening because the software I use to save them from Netflix adds its own opening onto them. That cut to black really did just get me. I was like, what the hell? What just happened? I did not remember that it cuts to black right there. The corpse of Godzilla Filius. Every time someone types an F in the chat, I assume that the stream died. What do you mean, wait, what? I don't know if I like this explanation being given right here. I think this should have been saved until after Godzilla has risen up, because Martin totally spoils the ending of the movie right before it's about to happen. It's like if you were to have watched Empire and right before Darth Vader tells Luke, you cut to like Princess Leia talking to C-3PO, and C-3PO's like, I've done a bioscan and I've detected that Darth Vader has an offspring. And then you cut to the reveal. It's like, well, that totally detracts from everything. Martin should have only given this explanation, because I do like the explanation, why he's able to distinguish between this Godzilla isn't the same Godzilla, because this one looks completely different. I just think it comes at the wrong time. It totally spoils the moment. Alex, if you hate it, then you can just leave. No one's asking you to stick around if you really hate this trilogy that much. And I do like the arrogance here that we see with Haruo, where he's like, yeah, well, another Godzilla shows up, we'll just wipe him out. We got the strat down. There's going to be no problem at all. He's got one victory under his belt. Granted, it's a victory against Godzilla, but still. Here goes the mountain. This is such a cool moment. It is quite convenient to think about the fact that they wound up luring Filius to the exact spot that Godzilla Earth is sleeping. Like, the planet Earth is a big planet. What are the odds that Godzilla Earth is right here? But also, boy, oh, does it make for an awesome sequence. The music right here is really ominous. I guess it's not really music, is it? It's just part of the sound design. But this is a very well executed sequence. I think this sequence really is the only time in the anime trilogy that we are shown the true scale of Godzilla Earth. Over 300 meters and rising. There you go. You have it. He's bigger than 300 meters. And here he is. Time for everyone to die, exactly. That big boy tail rising up. It's a very 2014-esque moment. Alex just showing up in every chat, just trying to spread negativity, man. Alex, you're going to get timed out. Because you do this every week. Oh, Memphis, dude, I love him. This is my second favorite line in the movie. It's Memphis' little, I don't know if it's a line, but it's Memphis' little speech to Godzilla right here. Oh, God of destruction. There, he's about to say it right here. Oh, King of Destruction. Sorry, King of Destruction, not God, my bad. Then you get the Millennium Roar. I don't know why some people are so upset that they reused a roar. Like, they don't always need to remake a new roar. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Godzilla's got a cool roar. Just leave it. That's how I see it. And I love how perceptive Godzilla Earth is, too, where he notices all these little purple dots taking off in the distance, and he's like, I don't think so. No offense, chat, but you guys are also kind of the problem for constantly feeding into Alex's toxicity. You guys are always trying to fight him. Just let him have his opinions, and then he's going to have no one to talk to if no one talks back. But there's the super oscillatory roar. That's always cool. You guys are equally as toxic at times. Just ignore him, Jesus. What part are we at? We are at the part where Godzilla Earth has just used his roar to blow up all the ships in the air, which is awesome, by the way. Wish he used that ability at some other point in this trilogy. But these shots of Godzilla just standing with the orange behind him, you know, looking, observing, I think they look really awesome. I love the design of Godzilla Earth. I know a lot of people don't. I know a lot of people will call it redundant of the legendary design, but I love it. And that beam from the tail is really sweet. It's a way better beam than the Shin Godzilla tail beam. Yes. That's such a great shot with the huge explosion in front of Godzilla. I love it. Pretty much every shot with Godzilla Earth here in this end section, I would consider a great shot. Makes him look super intimidating. He has a beard. How could you not love it? Exactly. The design is awesome. I don't know if I prefer this design to the legendary design. There are aspects of it that I prefer to the legendary design. And you gotta call him a bastard one more time before the movie ends. Oh baby, time for whiteout. Good stuff. Timestamp. We're at an hour 23:02, 03, 04, 05, 06. The movie's over. It's the end credits. You really get a sense of scale of Godzilla Earth in the first movie. Exactly, Tony, who just showed up out of nowhere. Where'd you even come from, Tony? You haven't been here the whole time. You do get a sense of scale, and this is the only movie that you get a sense of scale for Godzilla Earth. So why is this a terrible movie? Yeah, I can't answer that question. I don't know. It's not. It's not a bad movie. Too many bastards in this film. I just got out of work. That's fair. I didn't know you work. Wasn't expecting any other mods to actually show up for this one. Brayton's also in this one. When are you going to do a watch along for King of the Monsters again? I'm not. I've already done that twice. Why would I do another watch along for King of the Monsters? We're going to stick around through the credits because how could I... This movie has a post-credit scene. I've sat around through the credits of all of the movies we've watched, even when they haven't had a post-credit scene. Why would I leave during the credits now? What other watch-alongs are we doing? Next week we'll be City on the Edge of Battle. The week after that will be Godzilla the Planet Eater. And that's that. That's where it will end. These watch-alongs are a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun doing them, but I cannot keep doing them week to week. As strange as it may sound, they are very time-consuming. I know that may sound strange because they only last from like an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. But they're very time-consuming. It's a time-consuming process to set this all up. And I just need a break from doing weekly streams. Or at least from doing weekly watch-alongs. I suppose I may still be able to stream weekly. But from doing weekly watch-alongs, I'd like a break. So we will do more. I see Tony requesting Yongari. I suppose someday we could do Yongari. We'll definitely do more. I have a lot of fun doing these watch-alongs. I'm just not going to keep doing them week to week like I've been doing. I might do one a month or something like that, you know. One a month is way more manageable. I effed up my, Godzilla no, I don't know what other words you said, but you told me to speak Japanese, and the only things I can read in your name are Godzilla no. When are we getting daily streams like in 2016? You're going to have to go back in time about 4 years if you want that. Yeah, we'll definitely do more. We'll do Pacific Rim, Yongari someday, all this cool stuff. Just not right now. Is that Katakawa the production company? Are they involved with this movie? Yeah, I would like a break from the weekly streams, but I'll definitely announce them ahead of time. Yeah, I'll give you guys a heads up. I'll give you guys dates. Whenever I decide on them, I'll make sure to update you guys using the community tab, and I'll maybe say it in videos. Yeah. And I effed up my I was going to try and do daily uploading for a little bit, and I already messed that up yesterday because I had a video that was going to be late. It was going to upload late at night, but it was going to be uploaded yesterday, and the King of the the Godzilla vs. Kong news came out, and so I had to delay the other video and start fresh. This post-credit scene got my little brother quite hyped. Do you have a Patreon? I do not have a Patreon, but I suppose I could open a Patreon and you guys could request what the next watch-along is going to be. That's a good idea. The reason I don't have a Patreon is because I never have enough bonus content to upload on Patreon, so I feel bad about doing a Patreon. But this post-credit scene really did get my brother hyped. And I remember being very hyped when I saw it too. It was quite confusing, quite the shock to me when I very first saw it. We get to see this hottie anime thought show up at the very end. For just a brief moment, though. And no dialogue. And that's that. There's the movie. During last summer, I said I saw the original Ultraman series, but only in English. I have it in Japanese now. I tried to watch it in English on YouTube, but the quality was bad, and so I gave up on that. But now I have them in Japanese. The man needs to learn Japanese faster so he can read all those messages. What messages? What messages do you want me to read? I'm really out here sitting through the the voice acting credits that are like, thank you to these people from doing the dubs. All right, there's the movie, and I can close his laptop. There's a person in chat speaking Japanese. Yeah, I can't read his messages. I'm not that good. I see him commenting. Well, the thing is, he's not even commenting. I haven't even begun to learn how to read kanji yet. And I'm seeing a lot of kanji in his messages, and I can't read that. I don't know what those letters are. I also don't know all the hiragana is what I'm trying to learn how to read. I also don't know all the letters for that at the moment either, but I know some of them. Mechagodzilla vs. Pacific Rim. Dye the hair, do Metfi's cosplay next year, and then you should be the hottie anime thought. Oh, I never thought about that. I could be an anime thought? It'd be pretty epic. It looks so nice outside right now. I've been outside a decent amount today, but looking out my window, what happened to my headphone case? Whatever. Looking out the window right now, it sure does look nice. I want to get back out there. Do Planet Eater in 2 weeks? Yes, I will be doing Planet Eater in 2 weeks. Next week, I'll be doing City on the Edge of Battle. I've had quite a few people tell me they're not going to tune into the City on the Edge of Battle one because they don't like that movie. I think that's an absurd reason to not tune in. If you don't like the movie, it's all the more reason to tune in because you'll be watching it with other people. It'll give you your first... it'll give you your first exposure to watching it with other people who like the movie, and you'll be able to hear people who like the movie talk about why they like the movie, which will give you more of an appreciation for the movie. What will be after Planet Eater? A break. After Planet Eater, I will take a break from doing watch-alongs. Thank you very much, Godzilla154, for the donation. He says, put this towards your G-Fest cosplay savings. $2 towards the G-Fest cosplay. 2 out of 1,000. Very good, guys. 2 out of 1,000. You're going to have to specify as well when you donate. You're going to have to specify, this one's going to the G-Fest cosplay. And when we eventually get to $1,000, well then, I suppose I'll do it. I'll watch it to prep for next week. Oh, you're going to watch it ahead of time. That's fair. You're the best streamer in my opinion. Well, thank you very much, Obi-Wan Kenobi. All right, well, guys, this was... I'm sorry about the lag, by the way. You better keep track. I'll try and keep track. I'll write down a 2 right here. At $2. I'll write down to $2. All right. Yeah, sorry about the stream lag. Don't know what that was about. Hopefully that doesn't continue to happen in the following weeks. Shout out to Blue Nova for tuning in. I really wanted Blue Nova to tune in for these watch-alongs because I know for a fact he likes the Anime Trilogy more than I do. So I like talking to people that like the Anime Trilogy more than me because it makes me have more of an appreciation for the films. Blue Nova and I definitely at some point need to do a video. We were supposed to a long time ago, but I've been so goddamn busy. You guys know, if you guys have been watching the channel, you know I've been so busy with school that I just haven't had time to do anything. So now that it's summer, now that I'm on summer break, we'll have to try and find time to do a chat about the Godzilla trilogy, talking about why it's awesome. I really would not look forward to that one. But if we raise $1,000 for that, I suppose I could try. God, that looked terrible. Ugh. Just a reference to my tap to see if it cheaps. Just a reference to my tap to see a chapstick commercial? I don't even know what that means. Here we go again. It's lagging time. Ah! My face is freezing. Just get a white wig. Like your voice is coming out of your mouth. Like your voice is coming out of your mouth still, but the image is frozen, I'm assuming you're saying. Don't know what's up with the lag. I could try and, if this stream is really messed up, I'll just upload this watch along as a recording. Rather than with the glitching, freezing face. Yeah. It's okay. This is the end of the stream anyways. We've done it. We've made it to the end of another watch along. We've made it to the end of Godzilla Planet of the Monsters. Am I the only one who still calls it Monster Planet? That's such a hard habit to break. Constantly I call it Monster Planet. But yeah, my upload speeds are doing terrible right now, so time to definitely pop on out of here for this one. Thank you very much to Blue Nova for tuning in. Thank you very much to everybody else for tuning in as well. I really appreciate it. Appreciate you guys all watching these movies with me, especially because I know a lot of you guys don't like these movies, so it means a lot. Keep the glitched version up. Yeah, the glitches are really what's selling the stream here. All right. Thank you guys all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Bryce from a different universe. He glitched to death like in Spider-Verse. Enjoy your summer break. Thank you very much, Brayden. Adios. All right. All right. There's the goodbyes to everybody. See ya, Obi-Wan. See ya, Ghidorah's right head. See ya, everybody. D-Man out.